AfterBuzz TV, starting place to the likes of WWE female superstars Kathy Kelly, Sonya Deville, and Zelina Vega proudly presents Women's Wrestling Weekly, the world's first podcast and YouTube series dedicated exclusively to women's wrestling, featuring all the latest news as well as interviews with top superstars in the industry. And now, AfterBuzz TV's own gorgeous lady of wrestling, TK Trinidad.
Bonjour, you're watching Women's Wrestling Weekly, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. My name is TK Trinidad, aka the Canadian Assassin, and I am not alone. She is officially, I guess, we'll make it official once it's official. But please welcome my co-host. She hails from the Valley. She's the farmer's daughter. Please welcome Emily May.
Hi, everyone. Happy to be here another week.
Another week. And we're like matching for some reason.
I know, we keep matching outfits. It's like...
And now we have an amazing show like we always do. We have amazing guests, and we have a guest in the studio. She trained at Brian Kendrick's School of Pro Wrestling and Jesse Hernandez School of Hard Knocks. Please welcome the Candy Girl, a.k.a. Zeta. How you doing?
Very good. Thank you for asking.
Thank you for coming in. When I heard our assistant say, "Hey, she's gonna be coming in," I was like, "Oh, nice," because we get people like from all over, and traffic in LA is crazy. So it's
nice
like
to have someone sitting here with us.
Versus just off in the zeitgeist. So kind of let's get into it. So how did you get into wrestling?
I got into wrestling because of my dad. So one of the earliest memories I have is watching TV with him, and thinking that I could physically get into the TV and become a wrestler. And then you go to school and you realize that life is different.
Right.
And didn't think it was something that I would do. And initially when I first started to do it, it kind of just came like, let me just try this out. I didn't know how far it could go or how far it will go. So it just started because I heard about Brian Kendrick's school and I was like, I have to try it out. It revamped those childhood feelings again, and then it's been it since.
So what about what happened with your first bump?
My first bump I thought would be easier because I'm closer to the floor to where I would be bumping. I was like, yes, my height is going to benefit me. I'm not falling as much as other classmates.
Right.
But no, I don't think it matters. My brain felt like scrambled eggs, and after the first day, I couldn't move or turn my head left to right.
Oh no!
Man.
And I was like, we haven't even done anything else. Like, how am I gonna show up? I don't know how I got through. I think the first 2 months was just like bumpy.
Yeah.
I don't know how my body did it, but I guess you just build a callus and get used to it.
Yeah.
But no, even then, if you go a couple weeks without taking a bump and you take one, it brings you back to that first day of boot camp, and you go, oh. No, not again.
Oh, no. So how was your training when you first started a few years ago? So when did you exactly debut?
So I started training March 2016.
Okay.
I didn't debut until about a year.
Okay, so you took about a year with just Brian Kendrick?
Yeah, I know I had got asked about a few months in because I know a lot of girls after a few months because there's such a shortage of us.
Right.
But, I was the only female in the boot camp. So Brian Kendrick had a boot camp 3 months, just, had a program. There was another girl there for a few weeks and then had to drop out. So for the most part, I was the only girl. So I kept comparing myself to the guys, and I was like, geez, I am not ready. I suck. I can't debut. So I kept postponing it. I'm so glad that I did. I felt like it humbled me so much, and then eventually it got to a point where if I didn't do it at that point, I was going to get too nervous and just get too comfortable. So I kind of just took the plunge at a friend's nudge who got me a booking, and that's kind of how I broke that fear, because it's scary.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
It's scary.
Well, yeah.
Now, the Candy Girl concepts.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
So
I'm assuming you like candy.
I do. I do. Sometimes life gets so overcomplicated, and we try to do our due diligence and get prepared and do all these things we're supposed to do as humans, and all that. And sometimes it's just so nice to make it simple. And I think about the times where I would get so happy that my dad would let me go through his pant pockets before laundry and find any loose coins, and any money that I found I could keep.
Oh, nice.
It was his incentive for me to do laundry.
like
so he
that.
would sometimes just plant some things in there, and I would collect. This was a few years ago, so I mean, Snickers are like $1.29 now.
I know, it's expensive.
Like, what
I know.
happened? So I remember just being so happy and like my tummy being filled with joy, knowing that I had enough to be able to go to the liquor store and get a candy bar, and that simple joy. And I think that at any age or at any stage, we have to simplify it a bit and take it back a little bit like that. And I hope to give that to people, even if they don't need it. They might benefit from it.
So you want to give them the joy that candy gives you, however you're beating them down.
Yes.
Okay.
But in a sweet way.
That part.
In a sweet way, right? Take a lollipop and,
Well, mostly it's for the fans. It's
Yeah.
mostly for the fans. I think that sometimes we don't know the difference between kindness and being nice. And I think nice sometimes insinuates that you can be a pushover or not competitive or not have conviction or aggression or competition when you need it. So I pass out candy to the fans because I want to share that. And then as far as the in-ring, it's to show that you can live your life the way that you say and the way that you want to and be kind but still be taken seriously and still be competitive. And I think because of my size, I also have that working against me. And because I am, generally a jolly person, I'm not probably seen as what a wrestler looks like and, makes you want to like pee in your pants when they stare at you, the way that I would get scared when I would see, some entrances. So I think it's showing that element.
So what's the ultimate goal as far as wrestling?
It's one of those things that when I think about, I can get easily overwhelmed because we're so blessed right now to have options and opportunities and diverse representation. So I try not, this is going to sound crazy, but I try not to think too much about that because I don't want it to take away what training means to me, what I like the community when you're in a classroom and someone can't figure something out and you can see their frustration and we all kind of encourage each other to get through it. And it could be something that you figured out a year ago, a month ago, but everybody's at different stages. So I like to make it more about that and let myself build off of that. Because if I start to think too much about, of course, obviously the money or the sacrifice or anything like that, it takes away from that. So I try to protect myself in a way so that I do it for the right reasons.
Right.
Yeah,
Now, you did
important.
talk about representation.
Yes.
Do you feel like there's certain angles that you're not being represented as far as culturally enough? And if not, what do you think could be done as far as wrestling?
Culturally, like as a Latina,
Yes.
it's one of those things that I think I'm comfortable with knowing that it's an ongoing thing to grapple with, because on one side, you do want to be like, I'm Latina candy girl. Make sure that, in case you didn't figure it out with the look, because I've been told I can look, Armenian or Italian or, like racially ambiguous. Yes. Yeah, so on one part, you do want to have that stamp of representation because it's so needed, right? But on the other side, it's also that burden and responsibility of the need to even have to do that versus just being active representation for your culture without always having to. So I balance with that because I do want to represent, and I am representing whether or not I vocalize it or not. But it's just that complicated part of when you say those things, then you're marked as you're marked culturally, right?
So do you feel like if you say those things, you're pushed into the stereotypes of Latino culture within wrestling, or it's just more, what do you
I think
feel?
wrestling is life, so anything that with wrestling I think extends to life. So because it is a fact when if you make something a Latin topic or a Black topic, people know sometimes how to put that in a compartment, right? Versus if you say this is a human issue or this is something, then it makes it a little bit more accessible, more relatable.
Yeah, more empathetic.
And they're and they're able to kind of respond a little bit more. So I think it's case by case because trust me, when it comes to Cinco de Mayo shows, It is.
That's what I was getting to.
It is La Candy Girl,
Right.
and I have no problem with that. That's fine.
Right.
I will be La Candy Girl.
Yeah. So you're not only the Candy Girl, but I've seen you as Chickadee in Pro Wrestling Kendrick's, like, amazing, so much fun. If you guys have never been, it's local to Southern California. It's so much fun. So I've seen you there, and it's a fun character. You just have so much fun when you're doing it. And so how did that come about, and like what is that balance between Candy Girl and Chickadee?
So my first time, I don't remember getting too much direction. It was mostly, this is your costume, do what you want with it. I think that Kendrick is just one of those, like, he's just really cool where it is what you make it. Like, if you allow yourself to fall flat on your face, and that's you. If you work hard and put it, then that's you. Like, it's all you. He's there as a resource if you need it. So I just remember him giving it to me, and I just thought it was the cutest thing, and I didn't know what to do with it at first. But that show has so much freedom, and we don't get necessarily like detail of what he wants every detail to be. So it's nice to see that what everyone contributes to the show and how it turns out, and it's just so funny. And to know that I could be funny, I think just makes me more comfortable as a performer, because I have like a tail, or like, I mean, that costume is just not flattering. I'm trying to say this nicely.
Fuzzy little chick, right?
Right. And so you can't rely on your normal mannerisms and things. So it makes me have to think about expressions and nonverbal language, because she doesn't talk. Chickadee doesn't talk. So I feel like it helps Candy Girl. It helps me with the nonverbal and make sure that if anybody has the TV off, if they're watching something, they can still understand what's going on. They don't have to hear it to understand what's going on.
So, ultimate goal, or do you have like a top 5 as far as people you would like to wrestle, male or female?
Oh, God. I got really lucky. I got to already wrestle Katarina.
She's great.
Yes. And she always just came off as a cool chick. And it's really nice when you meet someone and they are as cool as they come off on social media. So that is a big one. I also got really lucky early on and got to tag with Karma, Awesome Kong.
Oh, wow.
So that was very, very important to me, because that was the first time I was able to get a female feedback for the most part, because I had mostly trained with guys and male colleagues. So that was really important. As far as, I think this would be so good. I think if Britt Baker and Candy Girl, I think it lends itself too much to not acknowledge that. Dentist, doctor.
I mean, and AEW signing a bunch of people. So
it fits. I could see it.
I think that would be good. I would have a lot of fun with that, and she just goes and goes. So I think that would be good. I also it depends on my mood, honestly, like what I'm trying to get from a match for like the top 5.
Right.
So it kind of varies, because sometimes I'm curious and sometimes I'm just like, well, maybe this would work better. Depends if I'm doing something for me versus what the story would be for the fans.
Gotcha.
Or the other two, because it kind of, you have your personal favorites, but then those that would be a good story for the fans. So it varies.
And then travel-wise, are you looking into like traveling overseas, Japan, New Mexico, or not New Mexico? Mexico.
I mean, you could go there too.
I mean, you could go there. That's not what I was thinking. And or Canada, or any of those places.
Japan.
Yeah.
Japan. I think it's one that you have to check off. Also, I've met a couple wrestlers that came from Australia, and chatting with them about how the industry was like there. I think that would be something. Plus, it's such a beautiful place.
Yeah,
like,
and they have amazing training schools there and facilities that you can get a lot of experience.
Yeah, it's just a great time to be a female wrestler. Like, I know. I just saw. Oh my gosh, I forgot who won the belt, but South Africa just debuted their championship a while ago too. Yeah, so it's just it's an amazing time to be a female wrestler. I mean, even though I'm sure schools still have 1 or 2 females, and compared to the ratio, but Kicking ass.
Yeah.
Well, actually, you guys are kicking ass, not me. Yeah. But you know what I'm saying.
In different ways.
In different ways. So we're going to do rapid hot tags real quick. So
Women's Wrestling Rapid Hot Tags.
Thank you. What that is I'm going to shoot you some questions. You're going to say the first thing that comes to your mind.
Okay.
So always early or always late?
Always late.
Last person you text?
My sister.
What is the one thing you love about yourself?
My smile.
Okay. Who would play you in a movie?
Ooh, that's a hard one. Someone short?
Favorite candy?
Mike and Ike's.
If you were a crayon, what color would you be?
Green.
And if you were to listen to one album for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Oh my God.
No pressure.
Why is that so hard? For the rest of my life.
For the rest of your life.
It have to be classical music. That would be the only thing I could tolerate.
And then if you were on death row, what would be your last meal?
Hot
toddy. Does that count?
And hot toddy?
Hot toddy?
Wait, it's a drink.
Does that count? Wait.
Yeah.
What meal is that? All right.
It's tea.
That is
I'll take it.
A warm drink with some fun.
Thank you so much for joining us. Where can people find you?
I'm on Instagram and Twitter, _Zeta_.
There you go. Thank you so much.
I had
we
a
really
hot toddy.
appreciate it.
Yeah, I was like, you had some before.
Like I said, we don't have too many people come in the studio, so we really appreciate you making the time and effort to come in the studio.
Yes, thank
Miss
you.
Emily May, the farmer's daughter, where can people find you?
So you can find me at Emily May Heller on Twitter and Instagram.
And thank you guys so much for watching the show. Without you guys, we wouldn't be the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. If you are watching us on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button and follow us on AfterBuzz TV on all social media platforms, and follow us on Women's Wrestling Weekly at WPW Weekly. Other than that, my name is TK Trinidad. You can find me on everything at TK Trinidad. Till next week, guys. Ciao.
Bye.
From executive producer Kevin Undergaro, producer TK Trinidad, and me, Maria Menounos, we would like to thank you for tuning in to Women's Wrestling Weekly. To help TK, the crew, and women's wrestling in general, we ask that you subscribe, rate, and comment on Women's Wrestling Weekly at Apple Podcasts, and subscribe to our AfterBuzz TV wrestling channel on YouTube for this and other outstanding wrestling content. Buzz you later.